All right, this is lab 6-2. I have the Excel file pulled up and we need to start off on this sales order worksheet. So we want to go to insert to create a pivot table. And so I'm going to go, let me just click on this. Yeah, new worksheet. Um, so we have to select this, add this data to the data model. Hit OK. Oh, um, so here, so this is so, I'm sorry. Okay, let me make sure. All right, so we have, we're able to see both of these tables, which is why we select that last box on the previous screen. So we're gonna go to sales order and find sales order total and drop this in values. And then we need to go to cash received. We need cash receipt amount. And we are dragging this all as we're dragging it to values as well. So you see those populating on our worksheet. So we have to go back to sales order and we need sales order ID and drop that in rows. And here it says relationship between tables may be needed. And so we can go ahead and select auto detect. Okay, we can close out of this. And so, and I think we do have the correct values. So we're gonna wanna select this, copy it, and then paste it in a new worksheet. So copy, and then paste this as values. There we go. So we need to scroll right to the bottom. Keep stopping. Control stop. So I believe we don't want this. We don't want the grand totals. And so we can select this row and delete it. Okay. Now for the next step, we want to convert this into a table. So we have to select Control A, format as table, and okay. Now we have a table we can work with. We're gonna want to add a new column and column D and call it difference, enter, and it formats it to be part of our table. So we want an equation. All right. So our equation is, we just want the difference. So we can select this minus this, and it fills in all the way to the bottom. And so we can look at this just to make sure it worked, and it indeed did. Okay. And so next step would be, we have to take out these zeros from the difference. So we are left with rows that actually have a difference between the sales order total and the receipt amount. And so now we want to go to cash receipt, received, make a new column called sales underscore order underscore date, enter, expand this. And so we want to do a VLOOKUP now. So we are interested in this column. And so we want sales order for the table array. And now we need the column. And so we want the sales order date. And so that'll be column that'll be column 2. And then we want exact match. Oh, no. All right, there you go. And I think we have to format this differently because these are not dates. So we're gonna want to go to short date, and there we go. So the next step would be to calculate the difference. So we'll be creating a new column. Oh, it's not called difference. It'll be called age. Enter. So we want to start off with the sales order date and then subtract the cash receipt date. And so all right, so we want to go ahead and change the format on this column to a number. And since it's showing negative dates, we want to switch this formula around so that we don't have negative days in our column. Minus our date, enter, and there it goes. Looks like it worked. Let me just make sure it worked all the way down. I'm not sure why it's going on. Okay. Right. And it looks like it has, so go ahead and go back to the top. So we want another column called bucket, and we're gonna do a VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP, we want lookup value, we want age. Oh wait, I think I'm looking. I need a. All right, so I added the side table. We're gonna use the sorry. All right. Yeah, so the side table is going to be used compared to the age column, and we're going to do this here in the bucket column. So like I was doing before, VLOOKUP age for our range, lookup value, comma, and table array will be this right here, comma. The column we want this function to pull from is 2, and then we actually want an approximate match. And so hit enter. Okay, so it's like there's a problem. I believe, oh, okay. So I just need to reference this one. Enter, and there we go. I believe that worked. Looks good to me. And so the next step is to do a count. So here we're gonna add count. And we're gonna insert a count if statement. Okay. So we're going to use the bucket column, but we just want the data. So we can hit Control Shift down, and it selects all the data here, comma. Let's go back up so I can see the criteria will be 0 through 30. And close this parentheses off. And so this tells us there are 350 cells that have 0 to 30 days. And so we just need to copy this formula down to show us how many 31 to 60, how many cells have 31 to 60, how many cells have 61 to 90, and how many cells have 90 plus. All right, now we want to go back to our pivot table. Go to this pivot table analyze tab and hit refresh. Let that refresh really quick. And so we have sales order opened. And so now we want to check to see, oh, whoa, what happened? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong one. It should be cash received. Age and bucket are in fact in there. So our pivot table is now updated. The next step would be for us to take bucket and add it to our rows. Hopefully that's the bottom. Yeah, they only had. And we want to remove sum of sales order and remove field. I don't think that's right. So I think it wants bucket first. And so you could now collapse these we collapse this and then I mean in here it just shows us the sum of receipt amount and the customer ID or the sales order ID. Yeah, sales order ID. And yeah, it just shows the sales order ID within the 0 to 30 days and then so on and so forth. All right, that is lab 6-2. One of the questions that asked, one of the last questions that asked was, which of these buckets would be less likely to be collected? And you could right away, I think you'd be safe in inferring that these accounts won't be collected just because there's been 90 plus days. They might be collected, but they're just the least likely to be collected just since they have they've been outstanding for 90 plus days. The ones in the recent bucket, 0 to 30 days, those are the ones that are most likely to get collected. And so these this will help you predict or come up with a estimate for the allowance of doubtful accounts just by looking at from year to year. I mean, maybe you can get this information from last year and the year before that, and then compare that to this year. And using those data points, you could probably come up with a estimate that is fair, or at least give you some data points to go off of and in determining that estimate. But yeah, that is lab 6-2.